That's when I came to realize that if I really want change, my heart's had to be fight with a brand new heart.
Hi, I'm Priscilla Woodson, a national recording artist, international performing artist, author, life coach, licensed and ordained pastor, and more. And I'm proud to say I am the founder and CEO of PW Music Services. PW Music Services informs, entertains, inspires, and motivates. Informs. I inform and provide consulting services to the arts and entertainment community about the business of this industry. Entertain. I am your live extraordinary entertainer for hire and provide services whether it be for corporate, private, and or community. Inspires. I provide holistic counseling and life coaching services. Motivates. Motivate the masses to move forward and being the highest version of themselves. And now, at this time, I would like to share with you a premier service of PW Music Service called Aspire for Greatness. What is it? It is Aspire for Greatness. Aspire for Greatness is a life skills professional development program. Now, let me share with you some program results of Aspire for Greatness. Number one, lives are transformed with holistic values that supports health and wellness. Two, clients are equipped with sharing their stories with a positive response by identifying their powers, their truths, and art of knowing themselves. And then three, Aspire for Greatness produces a conceptual masterpiece, a visual blueprint called the Heart Module. And the Heart Module captures gifts and talents that translates personally, professionally, and creatively. And also it transcends all professions, sectors, and industries. Now here's the big takeaway. A4G produces greatness that expands and evolves over a lifetime. Now that was the program results. Let's go a little bit deeper, because what I would like to do right now is share with you the Aspire for Greatness curriculum. And this curriculum, first of all, it uses the holistic approach, talking about mind, body, and spirit. And it integrates, talking about your imagination and your creativity. It is an introspective experience. And the approach says, we're going to take your good, your bad, and your ugly, because they all count and they work together for good, for greatness' sake. Each student will go on an introspective 10-week topical study. And this is where we're going to drill down. And I'm going to present a high-level overview of the 10-week topical studies, because these 10 weeks, you are going to customize your personalized visual blueprint, talking about your heart module. Session number one, discover your heartbeat. This is where we celebrate your powers. Do you know what kind of powers do you have? You have to know your powers are your gifts, your talents, your visions, your dreams, your ideas, your concepts. They bring about the best of you, shows that you're a superman or you're superwoman. They also affirm that you have something to attribute and contribute. They say you have value, you have worth, as well as you have wealth. Do you know your powers are a weapon? Not in a bad way, because your weapons are designed to work for you. But if you don't know what they are, how can you use them? You're here, as it relates to your powers, to dismantle myths as well as to interrupt systems, because remember, you have superpowers. Session number two, reveal your truth. This is where we talk about your story. What is your story? And the strategy that the program uses, we start with your ECRs. What are your ECRs? I'm talking about your environment, your circumstances, and your relationships. Your environment, how did you arrive? Just talking about your humble beginnings. How did you come about? What environment were you birthed into that you had no control over? And then we factor in your circumstances, talking about truth, whereas you can give an actual account of what's going on in your environment and your circumstances. Then we factor in relationships, talking about what relationships cultivated as a result of your ECRs, whether it be all good, bad, or indifferent. The point is, I need you to be in tune with the truth and facts of your story. Own it, because now we need to pull some life lessons, because some stories are traumatic. They produce drama. As a result, they also produce triggers. Do you know what your triggers are? I'm talking about behaviors, mentalities, things like that that make you come outside of yourself. I'm saying if there's something in that environment you need, then we might need to get a hold of these triggers. And sometimes, often triggers perpetuate generational cycles. And if you just get a hold of yours, guess what? You have the power and the ability to interrupt what has been going on. You can make a difference, but you need to have your truth, because your truth now gives you substantial content, and your truth allows you to sit at the table. But when you sit at the table, will you eat and talk, or will you be silent? Truth says, don't be ashamed, stand up in it, because there's some value and worth in your truth. Then topical session number 3, the art of knowing yourself. I'm talking about your belief systems. Your belief systems are important because they are a firm foundation, provided your source is a true, tested, and tried source. Why is your belief systems important? Because they provide principles and concepts that help you navigate on a day-to-day. They give you content to be able to stand on, so you don't have to stand alone, but you have a starting point. Meaning, again, they support you in identifying that which is true for you, that which is not true for you. What are your values as well as your morals? And then it also support you in not compromising and being something that you're not. Why are these first 3 sessions important? Talking about your truths, your powers, as well as the art of knowing yourself, because all 3 bring about the authentic you, meaning when you show up, you can show up in power. And just in case ego want to take over, we bring in your truth, which is your story, and it knocks you back down to a humility state to let you know that what are you standing on? I'm hopeful, firm foundation. And it's about managing those 3 things, talking about your pillars, your powers, your truth, and the art of knowing yourself. So now, the next topical studies, we're gonna actually talk about the process of aspire to greatness. So aspire, I'm talking about your ambition. Factor in organically, this word says to breathe and forward. So as you are aspiring with ambition, you should be breathing and moving forward. And greatness says it's not about you being excellent and so much excelling. It means there is something of significant importance to you. As a result, it's time for you to be a benefactor in that by moving forward. But here's the process. Oftentimes, people want so much and they looking for direction, and they want somebody to support them and showing them what the process looks like. So that's where we go to Pursue Excellence, session number 4. This initiates the process of greatness. Pursuing excellence, it's not so much about following, chasing real fast. It's about developing a rhythm and pace to support where you are. Excellence is not about being perfect. It's about when you show up. Do you show up with a standard? Because when you show up, it establishes your credibility, your reputation, and everything that's about you. It represents when you show up. Does it look like investment, or does it look like you just got out of bed? When you show up with your products, does it look like you just threw something together, or you spent quality time preparing it, studying it, putting it together, cultivating it, developing it, as well as monetary value? And how do you do this with Pursue Excellence? The approach says to start and maximize where you are, whether it's beginning stages, intermediate stages, or season and advanced stages. It's about when you show up with your powers. Again, if you know what they are, that sets you up to maximize and start where you are. It's not about mirroring or looking at anybody else, but again, everything we're bringing out is what's inside of you so that you can pursue. And in the pursuit, we also identify mantras that support you in being who it is that you say that you are. This is where we start the process of producing tangibles to what it is you say that you are. What are you talking about, tangibles? Tangibles say, you know what? I'm a businesswoman. I'm an entrepreneur. At minimum, I should at least have a business card. I should have a brochure. If I'm an author, I should at least have a book. If I'm a singer, I should at least have a CD. And again, it's not even starting out that big. It's starting small where you are. But this initiates that process and show you what pursuing excellence looks like. Okay? Then our next session is about living holistically. I'm talking about maintenance process of this mind, body, as well as the spirit. What are you talking about? This mind, do you know it's designed to change every 3 seconds? So as a result, it is important that we establish healthy mind strategies. Mind, talking about supporting your imagination so that when you begin to think, you can think with positivity, but it requires a deposit. So that when your imagination, talking about your creativity, is ready to bring that thing into manifestation, you're able to move forward because you made deposits in your mind strategies. Then the body, talking about being physically present and engaged, meaning when you show up, we need to be present, people. Don't just show up any kind of way, because really the reason why you're in that atmosphere because there's something for you. So why not show up? And then also in this body, it's about managing this temple internally as well as externally. That means sometimes externally we got to do a little sweating. I don't know about your temple, but I'm working on mine. And then internally, again, it's about what you're intaking, talking about your food. Sometimes we eat stuff that we know our body is saying, what are you doing? Living holistically said we need to get that under control because you're trying to get somewhere, so therefore we need to make sure this body is healthy and whole. And then the third thing, talking about the spirit, ever assessing everything that's on the inside of you, talking about your heart and your soul. When your heart is heavy laden, oh my goodness, we can't do a lot. But when you're ever assessing it, you addressing it and developing maintenance strategies that support you being healthy in mind and body and spirit. Oh my goodness, and you factor in your powers, you factor in your truths and the art of knowing yourself. I say you are a powerful individual. So we need a maintenance strategy for managing all of this. Then the next session says, what is your plan B? Do you recall when you was little, your teacher might have asked you, or your parents or your friends or whomever, they always say, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? We've always been conditioned to just say one thing. Aspire for Greatness says, You're not one thing, but you are much more. My program supports natural functionality and order. So as a result, the concept of the program, it literally mirrors the heart's anatomy. Everything about this pump, talking about the heart, it's designed to pump and release. Pump and release. My program says your gift is designed to pump and release. Everything organic about the word pump as well as gift. They are designed to release. Your gift is a natural skill or ability endowed with power, not given by mankind. And every person has one. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of people say, I don't have no gift. Yes, you do. And it is powerful. And then the program says, again, going back to the anatomy of the heart, when that blue and red blood releases, talking about oxygen and blood, it now makes room for your internal organs to do their unique organic role. I say your organs mirrors your talents. Now your talents, they are indeed a natural skill and ability. However, there's a difference. Talents can be purchased and learned and taught. How do I know that? Because organically the word talents mean money. So now if we put that all together, the program says your gift is your plan A. Back to your heart. Your plan B, C, E, F, G are your organs. So while we're customizing your heart module, I'm talking about this right here. These are my plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. This is what I not only call a heart module, but I call an exponent module, because exponent means twofold. It's a mathematical expression where you raise a value with power. So we take, for an example, my gift, which is music. Though it is powerful, it doesn't have to stand alone. I say I want to use my unique organic organs, talking about my talents. So now my talents raise my gift with power, meaning I don't have to do everything with the music, because everything about this gift, talking about the heartbeat, it is designed to make room for me in many aspects, meaning I don't have to stand all alone. I got help. So why not use your help? So your gift is your plan A. Your talents are your plan B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's how you can see there's more to you. So each topical study brings about a different perspective that supports you in building the most authentic heart module. Then the next class talks about expanding your audience. Oh my goodness, this is a good one, because expanding your audience is about building relationship, connecting with community. It's about finding or connecting with your mentor, you becoming a mentee, where we begin to develop and have an epic experience. What is an epic experience? I'm so glad you asked. Epic is where experiment prelims and islands meets community. What is experiment? Everything that you've created on your heart module, this is where you begin to see what works, what doesn't work, what adjustments you need to make. This is where I'm telling you, begin to do all the tryouts. But just because something doesn't work mean it wasn't meant to be. That just means you need to make more investments. So this expanding your audience, it sets you up. It sets you up to get into atmospheres that's conducive to connecting with people that you need to be around, so that you can begin to learn, so that you can begin to see, so you can begin to feel and experience what your powers are really all about. We have to be up under somebody, people. We need one another, because what I have, I know you need, and what you have, I also know that I need. We need to expand our audience. Talking about the process of greatness. Sessions 8 and 9. This is where we grab our greatness and ask the question, what's next? This is where we get down to the nitty-gritty. This is where we finalize your conceptual masterpiece, talking about your heart module. And 2, this is where we also begin to identify your purpose, plan, and powers and tangibles for everything you've captured on your heart module. Why is this important? It's important that you know what your purpose is, meaning whom better to propose your conceptual idea than you. And a proponent, again, meaning whom better to be the advocate champion to release all of your powers. That's your purpose. Plan. Talking about your strategy. It's talking about your ideas, your concepts, your visions, your dream, all these different things that you've been writing down. This is where you make your plan. For the most part, some of you already have a plan in place. You just haven't activated. So now we're going to conform it to paper. And then powers. The great thing is you've done all the work because you've completed the program. You have your powers. So even though your powers are powerful, why not tap into 2 or 3 of them to help, again, make room for you to set you up so that you can continue to walk in your greatness. Then your tangibles. It is important you have physical tangibles that support who it is that you say you are, so that you can take yourself seriously and others can take yourself seriously. Again, it's going to show up by way of form of investment. And then the last class, graduation, we're going to end like we started, talking about celebration time. This is where you will also receive your certificate of completion, and I will honor you with your customized visual blueprint. And this is also the opportunity where students get to present in their own expression as far as what was their A4G experience like. So in closing, I just want to thank you for taking the time to hear about Aspire for Greatness. If you want to hear more information about PW Music Services, Aspire for Greatness, to purchase merchandise, just simply go to www.priscillawoodson.com. This last thing I want to say. Aspire for Greatness is looking for persons that aspire to achieve that which is important. Who do you know?
That's when I